Hi ladies, thank you so much for coming today. This is my free course on do you have what it takes to become a professional organizer. So what I'm going to do is share my screen and we will get started with a short presentation. And that is right here. Okay. All right, can you guys see that little graphic there? Yes? Thumbs up? Can you guys see that? Okay. This should say 2021 because it's 2021, but this is my little thing from last year. But welcome. I run the Jumpstart group on Facebook. And this course is going to be a lot about my day-to-day activities. I have been organizing for 3 years in Southeast Michigan, outside Detroit. We're going to talk a little bit about confidence, just those questions that you might have, like how the heck do I get this off the ground? I think I know how to organize my house. I think I've helped other people with their homes and done really well, but how do I get this off the ground? How does it work? So I've got ding dongs here. So let's go to page 1 and we will talk about some of the concerns you guys had. Some of these are yours and some of these are from the Wednesday night class. So we'll just go through these and answer those. Number 1, confidence imposter syndrome. Who knows what imposter syndrome is? Has anybody heard of that yet? Okay, 1 or 2 of you. Imposter syndrome is that feeling that you're not confident and you don't know what you're doing and you feel like you're going to be found out. Like, oh my gosh, I'm calling myself a professional organizer, but I don't know if I can live up to that. I don't know if I can really go into somebody's home and transform it the way they think that I can or the way that I say that I can. So it's really important to be confident up front and know your worth and go into those clients' homes. You know more than they do and just be super confident. Number 2, anxiety around doing consults. I was a little bit nervous when I started doing consults at the beginning. I have a little bit of sales experience prior to this. A lot of people have that nervous feeling like, oh gosh, they're knocking on the door, they're going into the home and they get the butterflies. So we'll talk about that a little bit. For me, it's not that hard. Once I walk in and start talking to people, like just kind of getting to know them, it kind of all goes away and I don't get nervous anymore. Number 3 is pricing. Some of you don't know how to price yourselves. Some of you we're all in different cities. So we've got a girl in England, we've got a girl in Tennessee, we've got people all over the US. So every market will be different. Every job is going to be different. So you might have to kind of adjust your pricing to the job, to the location. We'll talk about that a little bit. Number 4 is the feel of failure. This is something that every new homeowner, every new business owner goes through. Can I make it? What if I don't? What if this doesn't take off? What if I've told my friends and my family and everybody about this and I can't get it to work? Then what do? I'll feel really, stupid. I'll feel like a failure. It won't work. What am I going to do? The next one is called stick-to-itiveness, which is the ability to do what you say you're going to do to yourself. You have a list of things you want to do this week. You have a list of tasks. You want to contact those realtors this week, but sometimes you always don't feel like it. So you have to make yourself do it to get that end result. So I always say that motivation and you got to be internally motivated. You've got to make yourself do the stuff, maybe one day out of the 7 days, you're not going to feel like doing that 1 or 2 things. So you've got to make yourself do it if you want the end result. Breaking into a new market. This is a good one. This is really good for smaller towns, countries like the UK, Canada, where maybe this stuff hasn't really taken off yet. I think in the US, a lot of us know what organizing is and that it is a viable industry, a viable job. So in some of these markets, you might have to do a little bit of educating and get the word out about what you're doing and what the industry is like, what we can provide for people. The next one is estimating hours. This one is really, really tough when you're brand new. So I highly recommend that you do lots of stuff in your own home, do stuff for friends and family. You can do it free, you can do it half price, but the most important thing to do is to get lots of paid or unpaid experience. So when you walk into that $2 million house and it's a disaster, you know how to quote it. So work on your own stuff. Do your own closet. Will it take 2 hours? Will it take 5 hours? Do your mom's pantry. Will that take 3 hours or 10 hours? So you have to know when you walk into these jobs how long stuff will take, and the more experience you have, the better. So if you've never done a house or you've never done anything and you walk into a house, you're not going to know how to quote it. So hours of experience is really important just starting out. Okay. I'm sort of a perfectionist. Somebody said this the other night. I'm a perfectionist. I'm sure there's lots of you guys that are OCD perfectionists, like things a certain way. So for me, I had to get over that. Okay, not everything's going to be perfect. When I did my website, it wasn't perfect. It was really good, but I had to let it go, and I had to let it go live because I could have agonized over it for a month. I've got women who did my program 2 months ago that still haven't chosen a business name. So you have to be able to make decisions. You have to be able to work on that logo and go, yeah, I like it. It's not perfect. Let's get the card printed so I can do consults. So you have to kind of get over that perfectionist thing. I had to do it. And now in my business, I'm probably making 20 major decisions in a day. I have to make a decision and just go, or else I'm going to get stuck. Not having a stable job for a period of time. That is one. Yeah, sometimes there's ups and downs. My first year I had some ups, I had some downs. Not every month is going to be the same. You're a business owner. You're going to be doing marketing. You're going to be doing jobs. You might have people to work with you. You've got to kind of keep it consistent. Don't ever turn down a consult because you've got a job. Try to work it in, because the next month, all your jobs might be done. You have to keep those wheels going. You have to keep doing consults and keep it going. My goal every month, and I don't always hit it every month, is 10 consults in a month. So that's 2.5 a week. The months that I hit that, I do very well. Sometimes I do 6, sometimes I do 8, sometimes I do 4. In November, I did 4 consults. They were all hits from my website. I landed every single job, and I sold $11,000 in 1 month. So you don't always have to do the 10, but the ones you do, make sure they're quality, vet them on the phone, and try and close them. Not having insurance or a steady paycheck. This is a good one. Hopefully for health insurance, you guys either have health insurance, get it from your husband, or you can do it also on your own. But when it comes to business insurance, this is one of the things I recommend doing up front within the first month or 2 is get that business insurance. It's not much. It can be State Farm, it can be Allstate. There's a couple different places you can call, national places. Get that insurance, because if you're ever sued on a job or you have an accident, break something, you want insurance. Not having a steady paycheck, talked about that a little bit before, the ups and downs of that first year. This is a common one. I feel like I have no idea where to start. That's probably where a lot of you guys are, why you're here. You don't know those first few steps to take. We'll talk about that. Starting a business, all the legal tax paperwork. That's a very common question. I go over these last couple things we go over in my program, the full program and the mini program. So taxes, everything's pretty simple. If you have you can get an LLC or a sole proprietorship. And the LLC, if you have a business bank account, everything is run through that business bank account. You don't even have to keep an itemized list of anything. It's just basically printing off your bank statements at the end of the year, giving them to your tax guy, giving them your mileage, and you're done. If you do a sole prop, which means you might have your own, you might have a bank account with your husband, you can keep track of everything and do your taxes with your husband. And then you don't need that business bank account. It's a really simple sole proprietorship. Okay. I have no idea what realistic expectation of income would be for myself. That's very common too. I always say give it 6 months if you're gonna dive in, whether or not you've got a full-time job or not. Give it 6 months, and then you can really see where you are. I've got girls in my group, in my paid group, that coming right out of the gate, they're doing $4,000 or $5,000 a month. So they're doing the work though. They're doing the social media. They're doing all their business setup. They've got their Facebook page. I've got one girl who gets every single job off Facebook. She doesn't even have a website. She has no expenses at all, and she's doing $5K a month. So yeah, doing all those little steps, and step by step. Don't get the website before you do your business card. Don't get the website before you do your Facebook page or do your Instagram, because that stuff is free. Social media is free. Do that first. Get your name out there. When do I quit my job? That's a really good one, because we've got lots of girls that are working full or part-time. I always say, this is for a couple of girls that are in my full course right now, get to the point where you're saving everything, they're in that like 3, 4, 5 month period. They can't quit yet, but they're getting jobs organizing. So make sure you can save all that organizing money and make yourself a little pot at the end of this when you quit your job. So you can have that to fall back on. Try and get, let's say you need $3,000 a month to survive, pay your mortgage, pay for your kids' stuff, blah, blah, blah. Try to get maybe to that $1,500 or $2,000 mark per month, and then you can quit that job. Then you'll have lots of time for marketing, networking, and your whole week will open up. So I really recommend getting to 50% to 75% of what you want to make before you quit. I had one girl last year that quit way too soon, and now she's panicking because she doesn't have much of an income. So you can't quit too soon. The last one is how to get clients on a consistent basis. This one is one of my calls in my 5-week course is the 12 ways I get jobs. One of them is Facebook, one of them is Instagram, one of them is realtors, website, and I have a whole list of ways that I get jobs every single quarter in my business. So it's a lot of networking, a lot of putting yourself out there, and just being really consistent, telling everybody what you do. Okay? So hopefully that helps with some of those little, those nagging questions, or gosh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if people do it. So things to think about there. Now we're going to go into starting out what I did. So I started out in the beginning of 2018. I got my business cards on January 1st. Picked my business name. I used my name because I didn't want to wait for I wanted the big, beautiful name, but I thought I'm going to use my name and let's go. I wanted my cards printed. We had just moved home from overseas. We had our whole house in storage for 14 years. So we're pulling the stuff out of that. We've got stuff in Dubai. We've got stuff from up north, and we've got a 4,000 square foot house. We're trying to figure out like, what the hell are we going to do? And it took 4 months to do the house. So I did that. I thought, I love this. I love the design part. I love the purging part, the decision-making part. So I decided to start my own business and research, what is this organizing thing? I didn't even know what it was. So then January when I started, first thing I did is I have a graphics background. So I started creating graphics, nice high-end graphics. I put them on Nextdoor, Instagram, and Facebook. Started getting jobs off Facebook right away within a couple weeks. Started getting garage job, basement job, office job, pantry, everything. A lot of smaller jobs, but they were good jobs. So I started doing that. Within 6 months, I did my Facebook business page right away too. That was like my 4th step, Facebook business page. Then after a few months, there were a couple small organizing groups online, and I got myself a coach. So after 6 months, I got a coach. And then 6 months later, I got myself my website. I was so picky about what pictures I wanted on there. I didn't want stock photos, and I really didn't want these crappy garage photos. So I'm like, okay, I've got to wait till I get some really nice photos to put on my website. So a year later, I did my website. Did it in about 3 days. I thought it could be better, but we published it, and now I edit it on a regular basis, and now I think it looks pretty good. So that's been live for 2 years. After I did those 2 things, coach, website, my business exploded. So my first year, I did about 18K in sales, just basically not knowing anything, self-taught. Everything was from my own brain. My second year, my husband said, why don't you get your LLC? You've already got the insurance. The LLC will also protect you from lawsuits and keep your business separate than yourself. Why don't you do that? Hire a couple subcontractors and just see how many hours you can get and how many jobs you can get. So my second year, I tripled my sales and I did $51,000, and I worked 11 hours a week, plus consults and social media. So I'm working 20 hours a week or less, and I made $51,000 that second year. Third year, 2020 came around. First quarter was incredible. I did $23,000 in the first 3 months, then COVID hit, and we all were locked in our homes for 3 months. So that was fun. So then I ramped up my coaching. I got a bunch of new girls under my coaching, and we started doing training. We did training 2-3 times a week on Zoom, like what we're doing right now. I was on Zoom all the time. I'm a pro now. So we did tons of training. We're like, when are we going to get out? When are we going to be able to implement what we're learning and start getting clients? So June is when kind of people started getting out. We were getting back into homes. Realtors were getting back into homes and all the other kind of like one-on-one people. So June 1st, I was ready to go. So all these girls that were training with me, that one girl, Holly, with her social media, $5,000 a month, Lavender, $10,000 a month, everybody's out and everybody's really excited about having organizers come in their home because they've been there for so long. They've got their kids at home that are studying. They've got their husbands home working. So they need their house. They need help. And I'm finding this even now, people need help with their home office and just the structure of their house. So I had my best month in November last year, and did 11,000 in sales. So yeah, people are definitely, I thought my business was going to be gone, but it's back 100% and more. And people are really looking for help in their homes, small jobs and big jobs. I do 3-hour jobs. I do 60-hour jobs and more. I've done a couple 72-hour jobs where they bought the 60-hour package and we needed more. So packing, unpacking, staging, full house organization where they just don't have any systems, where they don't have a lot of furniture. You need to suggest, yeah, you need like a dresser in this room. You can't shove everything into the closet. You need some structure. People have stuff on the floor. People have like their kitchen just full, countertops full of stuff. So you'll learn how to do that stuff. But yeah, there's lots of people that need us. And every single one of these cities that you guys are in, I'm sure there's lots of people that need you. People that are moving, downsizing. It's unlimited. Let's see. So I did my DBA. That first couple months, I did my DBA insurance. That was the first 2 things I locked in. Then I got the coach and the website. Let's see if there's anything else along the process. Facebook page right away, Instagram right away. Okay. Day to day. Let's go to that. So this is my typical day. So today I wake up, I don't know, 8:30, whatever it was. My daughter was at school already. I always check my emails, check my phone, see if I've got any new leads coming in from any of my websites, any of my realtors, friends, whatever. Emailing people back, setting up appointments. I had to set up a couple appointments next week with current clients. So we set up something for Monday and Tuesday. So that first hour is just, checking all my groups, checking all my emails and phone for appointments. Sometimes I have consultations. What's today? Friday. Friday is a typical day for consults for me because I don't want to work a 4 or 5 hour session on a Friday or a Monday. I keep those up for consults. I don't have one today, but I do have one tomorrow. Consultations can be in person or virtually. That's fine. If people want to do virtual, do that. I usually post on Instagram a couple times a week, Facebook. I don't have a personal Facebook page anymore because I turned that into Jumpstart in January. So I just use my Instagram as kind of my personal page. So I'm posting in my groups all the time, so I didn't even have to think about it. Working on graphics and promotions. This is another one. Sometimes I'll do like a contest or a special something in one of my groups, or I'm promoting a new coaching client, or I'm in Instagram saying, I just started doing travel organizing. So in December, I put a big, beautiful graphic on my Instagram about travel organizing. So I'm starting to do that. And I know a couple of girls that are doing that and love it. So that's where people pay you to come, they fly you down to Florida. I've got a girl in March who wants to hire me. Flies you down to Florida or wherever they are, pays for your airfare, pays for your hotel, and pays you a high rate to do their house. This girl's moving into a new house in St. Petersburg, Florida, and she wants me to come down. Let's see, graphics. I do graphics all day long, all the time. Canva is great for graphics. Downloading job photos. Oh gosh, I've got probably 10,000 photos on my phone, so I'm always looking at recent photos, making collages, putting them on Facebook or Instagram, getting those all kind of organized on my computer. I do that a lot because I have so many photos. Networking locally and online. Before COVID, I was networking all the time. I was meeting one realtor a week. I was getting into local groups, meeting other business people, lawyers, doctors, mortgage people, you name it. I have a really good friend that's a lawyer. I met her on a website, a networking website, and I've done her whole house. I've gotten referrals for realtors from her. Her daughter is an interior designer, so I'm making all these connections with people that are working with similar people that I work with. You know, realtors, designers, things like that. That's how you build up a network, and everybody knows what you do. I live in a town of 6,000 people, Northville, Michigan, and I have friends of friends of friends, and everybody knows what I do. So kind of a small town in a way. Detroit is big, but Northville is small. Canva and Photoshop. I've been using Photoshop for 25 years. Canva is like Photoshop, but easier, and it's free. Get on canva.com. There are free classes in our group all the time. We're doing an advanced Canva, I think on the 28th with Natalie. She's one of my moderators. All my moderators do training. And that is a great way to get your brand, get your logo, get everything done. So you've got an incredible presence online. And that's how you get jobs, presentation. Typical week for me is 10 hours a week in homes. So I might do 3 or 4 sessions a week. Sometimes they're 3 hours, sometimes they're 6 hours. I will go up to 20 hours a week if I'm on crunch time and jobs have to get done, but usually it's 10 hours a week. Then it frees me up for consults. I play tennis 3 days a week. I get my daughter from school. I keep my house in order. I got stuff going on. So 10 is perfect for me. For you guys, it could be 10 hours a week. It could be 25 to 30. I think after 30, a lot of you guys would burn out because you're on your feet a lot and it's a lot of lifting. And if you're doing basements, garage, it's a lot of physical work. So I know one girl that's doing 30, she's just about dying. So 20, 25, 30 is probably the max. But if you can work 10, 12 hours a week and make 80 bucks an hour, it's not a bad week. So that's the day-to-day. Confidence. This is something that's really important. And Erica is doing a confidence class if you guys are interested. That's coming up, I think, on Tuesday. So we're doing all these little classes. Would highly recommend doing the confidence with her. So confidence is a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. For example, she's brimming with confidence. So I cannot stress this enough. I think every business owner, every organizer that I know that is successful has one thing in common. It's confidence. You have to have that walking into a client's home. You have to have that doing a Zoom call. You have to have that on the phone when you're calling the realtor and saying, hey, I'm a new professional organizer in the area. Can I meet you for coffee? I'd love to give you my business card and take you to coffee. I was doing that before COVID. Every week I would meet a new realtor in town. Now I work with 5 or 6 realtors on a steady basis and they bring me jobs all the time. So really confidence is one of those things that if you've got it, great. If you don't, you can work on it. Make yourself do things, push yourself, network with people. You know, ask your husband, do you know anybody at your office that maybe would need an organizer? Or do you know any realtors? Or do you know, ask your sister. Do you know anybody in your town? My sister lives 30 minutes away from me. Do you know anybody in your town who's a realtor or an interior designer or anything like that that I could network with? That stuff pays off dividends and realtors are gold. Let's see. Yeah, giving your card to everybody, speaking on the phone. Emails are easy because you can type them out and hit send. And it's not that face-to-face. It's a lot easier to do. Telling people what you do when you get asked. I play tennis a lot in these different leagues all over Detroit. And people ask me what I do. I give them my card and say I'm a professional organizer. If you ever know anybody who needs help, let me know. I get people calling me 6 to 12 months later saying, oh, I met you at West Bloomfield Sports Club and my mom is moving and she needs some help. Great. Let's hook her up with me and I'll call her. Let's see. Ask friends if they know business people. Really good. Local networking is really great. I did some realtor, like lunch and learn kind of things that are great. I've met with a bunch of people from some networking websites. I've met a photographer. I've met some women in like medical sales and we network together. So it's great. It's a really, really good way to get leads and get jobs without paying for without paying for heavy advertising, because some of that stuff doesn't work. You know, you put an ad in the paper, you put an ad on a site, it may not pay off. So I'm really, really big about organic. Putting yourself out there on a continuous basis. Wherever you go, just try to have that always in the back of your head. Have your cards I have my business cards in my pocket of my coat. So, and in my car. Putting your best foot forward on the consult. Dress up for the consult. I dress up for the consult. I'll wear like black pants or like a nice pair of jeans, like a silky top, sweater. I do my hair, I do my makeup. I want to, I wear like these little short boots. I dress up for the consult because I really want to be professional. I'm always on time. I confirm the appointment with the person, and I always just try to be really professional. When I work on a job, I'll usually wear like an organizing t-shirt or something kind of comfy, a sweatshirt in case it's cold or warm wherever we are. We're doing basements and garages. And then I'll wear like tennis shoes or just like a soft boot maybe, just to be comfy. But I always kind of dress up for the consult and just try to be really professional with my online presence, especially Facebook and Instagram. I see some of these people, I don't want to rag on anybody, but I see some of these people's Facebook profiles and they're just not professional. I try to be really professional with my online presence, so just recommend doing that. Is there anybody that has that little bit of like confidence, like, gosh, I don't know if I could call somebody on the phone or drop a business card off? Would that be hard for anybody? I know it was for me at the beginning. Anybody? No? Okay, maybe a little bit, that's fine. And the more you do it, like the first couple times it's hard, but then when you keep doing it, it gets much easier. So highly recommend doing that because there's so many people that you can help. You need to find your people. That's what it is. There are people out there that you can help. Okay, let's talk about benefits. So I asked you guys, how would you feel to be successful at professional organizing? And I asked the girls from Wednesday too. These are some of your answers. So some of you said this would be my dream job. I've had a lot of those answers. They just think it would be incredible to work a job like this. I would love to make my own hours. I agree. It's amazing not to be sitting at a desk 9 to 5, not to be on call, not to be, tied down to a certain job. It's you make your own hours, you work when you want to work. Last year I did 99,000 in sales, and that was mostly local organizing. And I took 4 weeks vacation. We went up north. I've got people that can work jobs when I'm gone. So I've got my own little team going, and I've got lots of flexibility. I can take off. We're going to Hawaii in February. I've got people that can cover my jobs, cover my groups because I have a team. So it's so flexible. Somebody said sharing an aha moment with my clients would be amazing. That is a lot of fun. When you're done with a house, done with the job, and you're taking those final pictures and the client is so happy, that is one of those feelings like you feel really proud, you feel really excited. The customer is gushing and so happy and oh my gosh, I'm going to tell my friends about you and give me some more cards. So that is a great feeling at the end of a job. It's fantastic. I just had one of those in November, beginning of December. This lady, oh my gosh, she hired me and I brought my sister and she just loved me and my sister. She's like, I'm going to give your card to everybody I know. Her husband was a chef. He would make us food when we came over, these incredible lunches. It was like incredible. So that they're like my favorite clients now, Michelle and Grigor. Would make me more fulfilled in my life. So that's another thing. When I started this, I'd been overseas for 14 years. I hadn't worked. I hadn't done anything. I wanted to do something productive. I could play tennis every day, but it's fun, but you can't play it every single day of your life. I wanted to do something that would be challenging, fun, part-time, and make a difference. And I definitely feel like I'm doing that. This is a good one. Would feel like I'm not working. And sometimes I'm at a job where I'm doing the containers and I'm doing all the stuff and I'm pulling the plastic off it and I'm putting the stuff in there and I feel like I'm not working. I feel like I'm on the home edit. I feel like those girls because it's kind of surreal actually to do all that stuff. Would love to support other families with their clutter. This is a good one because people get so stuck, they don't know how to get out. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to start. And you can go in and say, okay, let's tackle this area right here. Let's tackle this dresser. How can we fix it? Let's tackle this closet. Let's pull it out and put back in there what you want. Get rid of what you don't want. And it takes time and it takes steps, but you'll have the steps to help these people because sometimes they just can't. And sometimes they have physical limitations. They just don't know how to get it done and they can't get it done. Using my strengths to help others. That's another thing. Not everybody can do what we do and not everybody can see things the way we see it, like structurally in our brains. I can walk into a room and I can figure out exactly what to do and I can figure out, yeah, that stuff will fit in there or no, it won't. I don't know what it is, but I just know how to do it. This would challenge me. That's another thing. It's really a lot of, it's not cleaning. You go into a house, you can clean the house. Anybody can clean a house. This is going into somewhere and structurally figuring things out, figuring out what makes sense. How can we utilize the space? How can we put systems in here to make it better for you, your family, make it look good and make it work with your life. It's a lot of questions. It's a lot of answers on the console and in the process. It's definitely a challenge, and it's a good challenge. The last one is, if I could own my own organizing business, I would be so grateful. That is a good one because I'm grateful for my business. All the girls in my group that are successful are so happy. They can't believe they found something like this to do because it's so new, and that you can really make money doing it, help support your family. It's enjoyable, it's fun, it's part-time, and it's just a great thing for moms, and it's a great thing for women because it's so flexible. It's really, really flexible. So those are some of the benefits. Okay, so decision, and you guys don't have to make any decisions today because you've got lots of time to think about it. But for me, I did some research. For about a month I researched, decided if I wanted to try it or not. Make sure it works for your life and your family. I had one girl in my course, oh God love her, 3 months ago, she signed up for the course. Her husband had his own business. She had 2 kids under, I want to say 2, and she wanted to take the course. She paid for it, and she just couldn't do it. She just could not do it. And I said, why don't we do this? Let's put a pin in it, and we'll do it in a couple months. And she goes, that sounds great. So she's probably going to take it in March. But you've got to have the time to do it, because if you don't, you're going to get behind. You can't keep up with the class, or you can't keep up with your own goals. You'll get frustrated. So make sure you've got time to do it too. Do something every day to keep moving forward. So, if you decide you want to do this, like I did on January 1st, 2018, do something small every day. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Send an email to somebody. Go get some headshots done. Take your own headshots with your iPhone. Have your husband take some great pictures of you and get those going, edit them online. And, you can use them for your Facebook page. You can use them for your business card, whatever the case may be. Do something small every day to keep your business moving forward, or it won't go anywhere. Have a support team. So at home, hopefully you have support from your partner, your husband, your sister. My sister is a great support for me, my mom. And in our group, we've got the Jumpstart group, tons of support. If you ever have a question, pop in and ask it. We've got a paid group too, which is 85 women. If you ever have a question, I'm not around, they're there. Always educate yourself, read stuff about organizing. There's tons of great books on Amazon about organizing. Just really simple stuff, how to do a session, how to walk into a home and how to do it. We've got all of our training classes too. We have 6 training classes, how to do pantries, kitchens, garages, bathrooms, the whole works available. And the other thing is to have fun, because my husband told me when I started this, if you're not having fun, it's not worth it. So he said, the minute you're not having fun, quit. And I haven't quit yet. It's been 3 years. So with that being said, I will stop the screen share. Oh, I got one more slide. Forgot about the last slide. Last one is the coaching. This will just be a 2-minute thing. So I've got a 5-week jumpstart. It starts on Monday. It is 5 weeks. The next 5 Mondays in a row. I've got 11 out of 12 seats are filled. We usually start between 7 and 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And the program is right here. You can read that. I can also send you the file to this too. 5 weeks, you get the 12 ways I get jobs. You get all your business startup, how to get leads and close the sale, supplies list, package pricing. The 3rd week is package pricing. That's my best phone call. How to get the job, how to close the deal, and how to get paid up front, 100% upfront, not $150 a day. You're getting paid upfront on these big jobs. That's how I closed $11,000 in November. Everything's on Zoom. We record that. Goal setting, accountability, homework every week, realtor card design, which looks great when you're working with realtors. And I have a 20-page ebook that kind of encapsulates the whole course. But every week on Monday nights, we dive deep into all those 5 topics. Okay? And then these are the 145 women that I coach over here on the right. So now we'll do a stop share and we'll open it up for some questions. Okay. So let's, I'll unmute everybody. Anybody got any questions about starting up, confidence, the first few things I started to work on, or just that day to day? Anybody have any question? Raise your hand and speak. Yes, go for it. I can't hear you though. Can't hear you. Here's somebody.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, hold on. Baby, where's the volume on here? Just one sec.
I hear somebody. Is that you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So there we go. Okay. Somebody touched on this already, but I'm from a small town in Canada, in Ontario, and we are under lockdown right now. So I'm wondering about what the virtual organization would look like. And I know you're not talking about pricing. We don't have to talk about that, but I'm just really curious as to, you know.
Sure. Yeah. Some people do only virtual. I don't know anybody personally that does, but some of our girls do some virtual. So virtual is a tougher sell because a lot of these people, they want the hand holding. They want you to do it for them. They are older. They are busy working moms. They want you to do it for them usually, not virtually, but you can get some virtual jobs. I had some virtual jobs this summer that were great. And virtual, you can only do maybe 1 to 2 hours at a time. When I'm in person, I can do 3 to 6 hours at a time because people get tired and it's tough. It's tougher. So I don't think you could build a business virtually 100%, but it could be part of your offerings for sure. Yeah. And then living, you know,
because I did advertise. Right. And we, I've actually posted on my website, or sorry, my Facebook, that I'm open to doing virtual sessions, and I haven't had anyone bite on that yet. So I think my confidence in that area is going down because I'm thinking to myself, who would pay for that? Who would pay for me to be online? Not just a confidence thing, right?
Yeah.
Who would pay for me to sit here and go, okay, put that over there, you know, and let's do this. And I just feel like no one would pay for that. So I feel,
they will pay for it, but not as much
kind
as
of like it wouldn't be a good option.
Yeah. It's a tougher sell. I will give you that. I've had quite a few clients, but yeah, they usually want you to come in. So do you guys have, I know every city's different. Everybody's lockdown is different right now. Our kids just went back to school, but our restaurants are closed. Our movie theaters are closed. Realtors are allowed to work. So we're kind of in that 50-50 lockdown. Are you guys in a complete lockdown right now?
Yeah.
Are you? Okay. So yeah, that's tough. Tough.
Well, no, not really. Like Northern Ontario is better than Southern Ontario, like Toronto and that kind of thing. But yeah, the kids are going back to school, so that's a bonus. Good. I'm excited about that. Yeah, and then we're in lockdown till the 25th of January. So my thought was just, I would just stop for now and then start again.
Now, see how things go in February. Maybe once things gets opened up a little bit, you'll have a better chance of getting those live organizing jobs. And for me, I wear a mask and gloves on all my jobs. So do my people. So people are pretty comfortable with that. And I'm working in some really big houses. So staying 6 to 10 feet apart is not hard at all. Maybe when you're working in a closet, it might get a little bit more. And plus, a lot of the people, sometimes they want to work side by side. Sometimes they're in a chair, kind of helping you decide, keep, toss, donate kind of thing. So yeah, it just depends on your client, how comfortable they are. And yeah, we're wearing masks. So we're super, super careful. Yep. Is anybody else in complete lockdown right now, or kind of that 50-50 weird phase like us? Yep. Lindsay, I know, UK. Oh.
Yeah, we're in complete lockdown probably until March now. I mean, kids are home from school. It doesn't look like the kids will be going back to school until at least March. So yeah, we're in. So I was really interested in that answer actually. So that was really useful because I was doing exactly the same thing I've been sort of saying to people virtually, but getting absolutely no feedback at all and no takers. So it is really hard to just find out like. Well, to reach out to those people actually to try and advertise in the correct way to be able to get that sort of sales and
name out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried any Facebook local groups?
Local groups.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah, like the local selling sites and things like that.
exactly.
Yeah, I have. It's really hard because obviously, in England there is really, I'm really finding it hard to find any professional organisers.
Yeah.
So it is really, I can't compare myself to anything or
Right.
try and get anyone. I've just got to sort of go off the organisers with a Z rather than an S, because obviously we spell it differently. So yeah, I'm just sort of adapting by looking at what you guys are doing out there, America, Canada, and trying to see whether it will work over here. I think there is a big market for over here, especially with Cotswolds. We have, you know, a lot of big houses
Oh, sure.
over here, like the big country homes, estates, and things like that. And that's the target market for me.
Yeah.
But it's
So let me ask you
virtually,
this.
it's hard.
I know virtual is tough. I think you might need a couple months, and then once you guys get out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: the people with the big homes, the people that might have a lot of money and they've got their full mansions and whatever, do you think they do this stuff themselves, or do you think they just don't do
No.
it? You don't know. Or they wait till they move and they just move everything to the next house. You know, what do they do? Hard to say.
Yeah, they definitely, they obviously have people that do it for them.
Right.
I have done a little bit of a questionnaire for people. I did get a bit of a feedback from that, which was really helpful to see whether people did use other people. Bit of market research.
I love it.
And they definitely don't do it themselves, but they normally pay family members, maybe like nieces and nephews, to come and help them out. That's sort of what I've gathered.
That's interesting. I like that. Yeah, I think that Canada is a little bit behind us, and I think the UK is a little bit behind us with the whole, you know, paying a professional organizer and what they can do for you. So yeah, it might take a couple months for you to get out of lockdown, and then just do lots of market research and educating people in your area of what you do. It might take some time, but it could work. It could work.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you. Anybody else have any startup questions? Or go for it. Hi. Hi, Nancy. Oh, I can't hear you, Nancy. I can't hear you.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can. Thank you so much.
Okay. Is being like a perfectionist a bad thing?
Not a bad thing. No, it's not a bad thing, but sometimes you have to, like if you're with a client and they're really happy and you feel like things aren't quite right, sometimes you have to let things go. So go ahead.
Oh, like during the process though, like when I'm doing my own house, like sometimes like I have to clean because if not, it doesn't feel right. So like if I go into someone's house and I'm organizing, I feel like I would want to clean for them, and then I would want it to look good, so I would like move things.
Yeah, let's talk about cleaning. Yeah, great question. So what I do is if I'm doing a bookcase, or there's my bookcase there. If I'm doing a bookcase or something that's dusty, I will wipe stuff down just so then when I put things back, things are clean. So definitely want to do that. If I'm doing a basement or garage, I will sweep or vacuum, but that's all the cleaning I do because I want the stuff to look great that I just worked on. And I want the pictures to look great at the end. But just keep in mind, as professional organizers, we don't clean. So I'm going to highly recommend that you guys, I've got 2 girls in my group that are doing cleaning, and I'm highly discouraging them to do that because I just don't feel like cleaning is the same kind of a job as organizing. I feel like organizers are more high end and there's so much more thought and so much more process involved. So I feel like if you're cleaning and organizing, you know, the same house or with the same person, it just gets kind of confusing. So I just highly recommend you guys just do the organizing. But like you said, on a job, you might want to wipe something down, make something tidy, just so everything looks great at the end. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Sometimes I have to recommend to a client, if it's really bad, I have to say, listen, you got to get a cleaning person in here first, then I'll organize. And it doesn't happen often, but once in a while.
Okay. I have another question.
I can see where you walk into the house, it's like, oh gosh, they need a cleaner first. So it does happen. Good question.
I have another question.
Yes.
Do you have a lot of people be upset because you charge per hour, not per job? My husband brought this up the other day because he's like, what if the person that you hire, or what if you are super slow and you take like 6 hours to do one shelf, no?
I don't have that problem because the people I'm working with, they don't have any problem with my rates. They don't have any problem with the speed. Sometimes I feel like I'm working too fast. Like sometimes, let's say I sell a 36-hour package, I feel like, oh gosh, I'm almost done. What I do is then I just start to take my time. I might suggest some more products, and that's where I can get really, really OCD and make it look perfect. But when I quote a job, I'm usually right on the money. 24 hours, 36 hours, 60 hours. I know how to quote it. I know how long it's going to take. And once in a blue moon, I'll have to really speed up a little bit or really slow down, but I'm selling package pricing to these people. Yep.
Okay. And so you kind of have to know how fast you work yourself.
Right.
Okay, so like practice at home.
Yeah, definitely practice. You got to practice and know how to quote jobs too. Yep. Sometimes when I was newer, if I didn't know how long something would take, I would do this. Let's say I thought it was 36 hours, but I thought I didn't want to overestimate. So I'd say, hey, let's start with 30 hours. We can always add some at the end, but I don't want to overcharge you for the 36-hour package. That's what I would do. Then you give yourself some wiggle room. Yep.
Oh, last question. What if people that you're organizing for, they're your friends and all they want to do is like talk and like make you drinks, and like you said, like you ended up becoming friends with the people and they're feeding you and stuff like that. Like, how does that work out?
Well, that was the only time that they were feeding me on a job, but that was amazing. Working with friends can be tricky because you want to make sure you're staying on task. So if you know them prior to, just say, yeah, let's do a 2 or 3 hour session and let's get through as much as we can. And then at the end, maybe we can sit down, have a drink, blah, blah, blah. Try to stay on task and try to stay focused. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, who else has a question? Startup? Yeah, Jamie.
Can you give us some examples of some of the jobs that you've done or some of the jobs that you started, like back when you started, some of the jobs that you did?
Sure. My first job was a office medical billing small warehouse. We did a 12-hour job. I talked to the lady on the phone. She ran a check over to my house and she said, can you start Friday? I said, sure. It was my first job. And I went in there and we did 12 hours on 2 different days. And we sorted, she was a medical biller. She had like 500 banker boxes. So I sorted all these boxes by date. We had to get stuff ready to shred. We had a supplies closet that we had to do. I mean, it was a big job. 12 hours was just about right, but I was moving the whole time. She wasn't around a lot. She was like, if you need me, text me, I'll come out. But it was pretty much me. And it was a great job, but it was a big job. That was my first job. The fourth job I got was a huge moving, packing, staging job. You know, the pods, have you seen those where you put the stuff in the pod and you move to another state? That was a 60-hour job. I got paid on that up front and it ended up being like 65 hours. So I charged her a little bit at the end, but everything was packing up her basement. And I've got pictures of this one, full basement. I mean, everything you can imagine. Hunting equipment and camping equipment and food and diapers. I mean, it was everything. We got all that either packed up, donated, or pitched. Packed up the pod. She had probably 10,000 photographs in tubs. I'm not kidding you. From the 80s and 90s, like triplicates of photos. Packing up stuff in tubs, wrapping up picture frames. I probably wrapped about 200 picture frames with the pictures in them in bubble wrap. Put them in the pod, and then we staged the house for the realtor. House looked amazing. And then she decided to pack up just those last few things that she had, and she had a mover come and take that stuff. Well, we packed up probably 90% of the house in the pod. It was a 65-hour job. So that's a great job. That's one where you want to have a helper, a subcontractor, and you get it done twice as fast. Yeah, those are 2 of the ones that stick out. I've done so many basements and garages and pantries and craft rooms. Craft rooms are fun because I love craft stuff. My favorite is closets, master closets. Ripping out the closet, getting rid of all the clothes and putting it back together. Those are my favorite. So you'll get everything. You can get everything. If you don't want to do hoarders, which not a lot of us do, you can say you don't want to do hoarding. Find out on the pre-phone call if it's a hoarding situation or not. And go from there. Yeah, you're going to get a multitude of leads, a lot of stuff. Just decide what you want to focus on and what you don't want to do. Yep. Anybody else? Yes. You've got to unmute yourself.
Okay. There we go.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're kind of lagging. I don't know if we can be able to hear you completely. Go ahead.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
So I've had situations where it's not quite a hoarding situation. Like everything's kind of sorted in a way, but it's just a lot of stuff. And the client doesn't want to get rid of anything. So how do you deal with the people who really have a strong attachment to those items and will not give them up? Like my thing is always everything has a home. That's what I tell the client.
Right.
So if we can't find a home for it, it needs to go somewhere else.
Yes. Yes.
And they still like, they'll fight with me on it.
Yeah, I'll do
And
that.
it's like, you know.
Yep. So I will find out. I did a couple semi-hoarders at the beginning of my career. I mean, the first year and a half. I would do the consult. I would ask them, how much do you want to get rid of? Because if you want your house to look good and look the way I think you want it to look, we're going to have to get rid of 40% of your stuff. So either they will agree or they will not agree. If they don't agree, it's not a good fit. I don't take the client. If they agree, I'm like, okay, that's great. I'm writing this down and I will remind you that we need to get rid of 40%. And if it doesn't work, I mean, yeah, you got to convince them gently and nicely. You know, you said you wanted to get rid of 40%. If they don't do it, then you're just shuffling stuff around. And I've done those jobs and they're not fun. But usually on the consult, I can tell if they're really willing to get rid of stuff or if they're not. And now that I'm $80 an hour, I don't work with a lot of people like that because they don't, number one, they can't afford me. Number two, they've got so much stuff. It would be a lot of money. And number three, it just isn't my ideal client anymore. So the clients that I took at the beginning are a little bit different than the clients I have now. When I was $40 an hour, it was anything and everything. Now I've got such a clientele now that, you know, I'm working in $2, $3, $4 million houses. I get the clutter here and there. I get the pockets of clutter, but I'm not getting any hoarding or semi-hoarding situations anymore. So just make your way up to that. You know, start small, start with whoever, you know, you feel like is a good fit and just move your way up. Yeah. And just ask those questions on the consult. The consult is the most important thing to get your information. Make sure they are on board, make sure they're willing to purge and do the things they need to do. Okay, it's almost time. I've got like 3 more minutes. Who else has a question that hasn't answered a question yet? Lauren, do you have anything?
No, I think I'm good. A lot of people asked what I had in mind. So.
Good. Marianne, Jean, Janine, anybody else?
Beth, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so when you're first starting out,
yes.
What do you think is realistic to get things up and running? And when I say up and running, I'm talking about where you are getting that steady work, and how many hours would you estimate per week? You know, because obviously, you know, we all have different amounts of time, but in order to get it up and, you know, kind of maximize our time, yes. You know, and get things up and running in the shortest amount of time,
right?
What do you feel is realistic?
Great question. I don't think I've had this question in a while. I would say 3 to 6 months is a really good estimation of how well is this going to go. Out for hours per week, I mean, you can work 10 to 20 hours a week, but really marketing is huge. Doing your own marketing where you're not paying somebody for leads, where you're not paying to be on a website, where you're not paying HomeAdvisor $30 a lead. Just don't do HomeAdvisor or Yelp or any of those sites. They're bad and you'll just lose your money. So organic is best. Getting your name out there. Social media is really important. So yeah, 3 to 6 months, you'll know. I think you'll know after 3 months if it's going to work for you. Really.
Okay.
Yep.
And one more question in regards to that. So an income, a steady income, I know you said obviously it's going to be up and down each month, but an average of between say $5,000 to say $8,000 a month, is that realistic?
It's realistic, but you have to have a lot of things in place. Number one, you have to be in a good city. You have to have really good social media, and you have to really, really be putting yourself out there. Five is a good number to shoot for.
Okay.
8 there. It's all possible. I've got girls in my group doing all this, but not everybody's doing 8K a month. There's just maybe 10 of us, maybe 12 of us in the group.
Okay.
But what city are you in?
I'm actually in Clayton, North Carolina, but we are very close to Raleigh.
Oh, Raleigh. That should be a good city. Yeah, that should be a great city. Yep. 5 to 8K, I don't think would be difficult. If you did everything right and all the planets align, yeah, you should do fine down there. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Marianne, did you have any questions? No? Okay. Anybody else? Last chance?
I have a question.
Yes, go for it.
What are your thoughts on certification like NAPO or the American Society of Professional Organizers?
I'm not certified, and most of the women, I would say 99% of the girls in my group are not certified with NAPO. There are some smaller classes you can take. It can't hurt, but it's not one of those things that you need. I mean, I know so many organizers that aren't certified that are doing $10,000 to $15,000, $18,000 a month in sales. You just don't need it. You can get everything you need from me online in some of these free groups. You just don't need it. I just can't
So
see.
you've never gone to
$2,000, $3,000, $4,000.
You've never gone to
It's just a lot. Sorry, go ahead.
I said you've never gone to like a client for a consultation or even a virtual one, and they ask you about certification. That okay.
Never once. Nope.
Okay.
They ask me what I've done. They want to see my website, my photos. I used to bring my laptop with me before I had my website so they could see everything, all the photos I've done. They might ask me for referrals. I get that once in a while. They ask me if I'm insured, and that's like the only things they really are particular about.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that was helpful. If you have any more questions, let me know. If you have questions about my coaching that's starting Monday, let me know. And I'm off to get my daughter from school, so thank you so much for coming. Have a wonderful day. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.